Hello there. Today we're going to talk about doing a budget and a monthly budget that will help you to get out of debt. We're going to use a spreadsheet, and you may have one on your computer if you have Excel. Just be careful, of course. Every year, if it's in Microsoft 365, they're going to ask you for another 900 Namibian dollars to renew. I prefer free and open source software. This is called LibreOffice, and you can download it at libreoffice.org. So we're going to make a spreadsheet today, and we're going to. I always start somewhere here because I always leave things out. So if I start on the top left, I end up having to add different columns and things. So we're going to put here, of course, our income. What are we earning? Our expenses, and I'm going to put here in brackets per week because some of the things we're going to look at per weekly. And then here we're going to say, sorry, let's just do that. Here we're going to say balance, and here we're going to say debts, and we'll come back to all of these things later. Here I'm going to put total, and let's kick off right away and say what's our income. And it's probably and I'm going to use a government worker here. So a lot of your expenses are already taken care of as a government worker, but let's say you're earning 8,000 a month, and you have a child, and so you're getting from the father some child maintenance as well. And I'm just going to do that so the columns are neatly aligned. In the total column, I'm going to type in equals bracket, equals sum bracket, just like that. And I'm going to highlight with my mouse all of these columns. Let's do it down to 30, just so we're covered. All right, and we're done. So the total is 10,000, 8,000 plus 2. What are expenses? I don't know. Let's think about them. I'm going to put some in brackets because, again, for a government worker, you don't have to worry about these things because you're probably in a government house or a government flat. That's already on your salary slip. So the salary you're earning is after all of these expenses. So food, obviously, you can't live without food. And again, should we say per week? Should we say 800 a week? And here we're going to type equals that times 4. Equals F8 times 4. You don't have to type in F8, you just say that. You click on that. What next? Electricity. 800 a month. I'm just making these figures up. I'm trying to work this out in terms of what's most important, because if you haven't got food, if you haven't got electricity, and you haven't got accommodation, you're seriously in trouble. Again, transport per week would be 200, 40 times 5. And again, so that I can just do a copy and paste. It's going to be 800. 200 times a week times 4 equals 800 a month for transport. If you've got children, school fees, I don't know, 500 a month. Does that sound reasonable? 6,000 a year. Clothing, maybe 400. What else? If you were obviously not a government worker, you were a salaried worker, you'd have to think about medical, you'd have to think about your pension, so some sort of investments, and you'd have to put money aside to pay your tax. But again, as a government worker, that's all done for you, so you don't have to worry about that. You've got a cell phone, and I'm with AwareGo, and that's $15 a week, so that's $60 a month. Internet, I'm with Spectra, and it's $350 a month. And maybe you need something to watch, so Showmax is $99 a month. And entertainment and drinks, maybe each week you go out, should we spend 300 on that? And again, I'll just copy and paste that, there we go. 1,200 a month for entertainment and drinks. How are we doing? Again, let's copy that because that is going to be exactly the same. In other words, just to show you the formula, equals sum of E7 all the way down to E30. All of these are included, so that's good. And then my balance equals income minus expenses. All right. I've left one thing off, and I'm just going to add a little column there because we need to add the dreaded debts. And let's start listing these debts here. What debts have you got? Maybe you've got Edgar's. No, let's start with a small one. Cash loan. It's $1,000. Maybe you've got Edgar's, 2,000. You've got a family member you borrowed money from, 3,000. I'm just making these things up. And then you bought some furniture from Fern Mart, and that's $5,000. And I've tried to list them in terms of smallest to largest. So the smallest, what do we pay the cash loan people? 150 a month. Edgar's, they want 200 every month. The family member, you agreed to pay them 3,000 a month, and Fernmark is 450. So again, we use the same formula as we did for all of the others. There it is there. Again, the formula is equals sum of that I7 minus I31. The I stands for the column, by the way, and the numbers stand for the rows. So how are we doing? The one last thing I want to do, I want to add this. So I'm going to say, where it says debts, I'll say equals that. Boom. So now now it gets interesting. Now you see my balance is 1,400. I've got 1,400 left after all of these expenses. So now I can start playing with this. And I can say, well, why don't I give, wow, let me be crazy. Let's give $1,000 to the cash loan. It's paid off. You see, the balance with 1,000, I paid off 1,000 to the cash loan. Hallelujah, it's gone. So next month I can start working on Edgar's. And I've still got a balance at the end of the month of $640. So I can say to myself, well, let's spend a bit more on food, 900 a week on food. And you see how everything changes very nicely. Or I can say, let's go crazy and spend 500 a week on drinks. Now we've got a problem because you see my balance has slipped into minus. So all of these things work nicely together now. And you've got now a really nice flexible budget that you can look at every month and work out, are you on track or not? What you can also do, I'll just rename this and I'll call this one June 2023. And now I can just at the bottom here again, copy. I'll move it to the end and I'll call this one July 2023. Right. So now I've got the same spreadsheet and I can just keep copying for each month. But the July one, of course, is now going to be different because remember, we paid off the cash loan. Hallelujah. It's gone. So now I can actually pump more money into Edgar's. That's probably a bit too much, but anyway, let's say 1,200. I've still got a positive balance, and I'm well on the way in the second month to paying off Edgar's. So when I get to August, Edgar's will be gone, and we'll be just left with the family member and Fernmart, etc. So you work your way through all of these debts, and every month it gets better and better. But again, the nice thing about a spreadsheet like this, rather than writing it down on a piece of paper with a calculator every month and getting yourself in a twist, is everything you change here. Because the way we've done the spreadsheet, if we see 700 a week on food, we cut down a bit on food, then you can see the balance is a lot more. So I can actually also put, if I cut down on food, another 1,000 into Edgar's. Yeah? And so you see how, because everything's linked nicely now, it makes your budgeting a lot easier. So I hope that helps you. And if you have any questions, please put a message below or you can direct message me.